Franz Wagner hands the Lakers their first home loss. Is there drama in Minnesota? And much more on a really, really fun night of NBA action on Thursday. It's Locked On NBA Game Night. Let's go.
When that final buzzer rings, you know it's time for Locked On NBA Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. It's the true NBA fans' one stop for all the action. Every game, every night. It's Locked On NBA Game Night. Tipping off now.
Welcome to another edition of Locked On NBA Game Night. Every game, every night. On Fridays, I'm your co-host, Jake Madison, at NOLA Jake on Twitter, and the host of the Locked On Pelicans podcast.
And I'm John Karalis, at John_Karalis on Twitter, and host of the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night is brought to you by Robinhood. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. John, 4 games in the association on Thursday night, but honestly, like every single thing was fun. These type of nights are some of my favorite in the NBA. You look around the league and you're like, oh, I don't know how exciting some of this is going to be. And then all 4 games like absolutely delivered here.
Yeah, it's funny because I saw somebody tweet out like tonight's slate is for the sickos. Like this is for the NBA sickos. Are you really going to be tuning in to Detroit and Charlotte? You can really be tuning in to Minnesota and Toronto? You should have been, because there is a lot of great NBA basketball in this one. This Lakers-Orlando game was so fun. That fourth quarter just bottled that up. That was a lot of fun. And watching Franz Wagner hit that game winner, I thought they were cooked. I thought it was done. I was ready for the big LeBron James podcast. And nope, Franz Wagner said, no, you're talking about me today.
Look, I had it ready to go. I was like, lucky number 7 was going to be it for the Lakers. Like that was going to be the thumbnail and everything here with their 7th straight win. LeBron took over the fourth quarter. That didn't matter to Franz Wagner, who hit that step back 3 to give the Orlando Magic a 119-118 win over the Los Angeles Lakers. Let's go to Locked On Magic host Phil Rossman-Reich to see what he has to say about this one.
This is Philip Rossman-Reich, the host of Locked On Magic, as the Orlando Magic stunned the Los Angeles Lakers by 1 point, 119-118 to close their road trip. And this game is all about Franz Wagner, because in a game that saw the stars be stars, LeBron James, Anthony Davis carrying their team, LeBron James dominating the fourth quarter to erase a short Magic lead and seemingly put this game away, it was Franz Wagner who hit the big shot. Yes, the Lakers left the door open with some missed free throws. Free Throw Awareness Month is in March. Please donate to your favorite free throw awareness causes. But Franz Wagner stepped up and hit the big shot. He hit the big shot over and over and over again. And that's been the story for the Orlando Magic since Paolo Banchero got hurt. Franz Wagner has blossomed into a true all-star. And if you didn't believe it before, you better believe it now, because he took a ballsy step-back 3 for the win in Los Angeles to hand the Lakers their first home loss. A big win for the Magic.
Look, it's about Franz Wagner. 37 points, 11 assists, 6 rebounds. He was 7 of 8 from the free throw line, 4 of 10 from 3. Look, the fact that the Magic are playing this well without Paolo Banchero has been pretty eye-opening to me, I think.
I think Franz Wagner has had this in him for a while. A couple of seasons ago, he was that dude a couple of seasons ago. Last season, he took like a step back. His three-point shooting dipped way too much. This season, some spottiness there, but 40% in this game. This is the guy that can help carry the Magic through the Banchero injury. This is like the peanut butter and the chocolate. And you got to put the peanut butter and the chocolate together to make a Reese's. And obviously the best candy. Orlando just needs to get Wagner and Banchero playing like this together, and they will change how the East looks versus what we expected it to be. Banchero obviously is very good, Wagner, I am a Wagner believer. I think he is an incredible basketball player. He just needs that 3-point shooting. And when it's falling, and that shot that he hit, it might have been deflected by the bottom of the scoreboard. It was so high up. But if he's hitting those threes, he is an all-star.
Look, his brother played pretty well too. Mo Wagner with 19 points here in this one as well. And it kind of ruins a fantastic performance from Anthony Davis, 39 points, 9 rebounds. LeBron James, as Phil said, took over the fourth quarter. He had 31, 7, and 10 here. How are you feeling about the Lakers after this one? They were on the winning streak here. Let's play a quick game of real or fake. Real or fake in terms of the Lakers. Are they title contenders? Lakers are title contenders. That's the real or fake.
I still say fake. I don't think I'm not going to say regular season success is indicative of the ability to get through a 7-game series. I just think there's the game planning. Part of their success is like Dalton Connect has been like amazing, and they're getting these performances, but are with a whole regular season under the belt and a chance to game plan. And I just think it's going to be different in the playoffs. So they're great. They might be a playoff, like non-playing team. But I'm still not sold on, first of all, I'm not sold on everything working this way in the playoffs. I'm also not sold on them being fully healthy by the time you get to the playoffs. So if they can go into it healthy and you can guarantee me somehow that they will stay healthy throughout, then maybe I'll change my tune. But right now I still say probably not. So yeah, mostly fake.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, right? Like they look like they won't be a play-in team and will have a top 6 seed, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're a title contender at that point. One of the things they don't do enough of is they don't take enough 3-pointers. They took only 31 in this. And look, if you're going to try and beat the Celtics or a team like that in the NBA Finals, right? You're going to need to shoot not just like a medium amount of threes, but a whole bunch of threes. And they're 24th in the league when it comes to that. They had, they took some in here. Some guys shot well, some didn't. LeBron James was 5 of 9. Can he do that in a 7-game series? I'm not sure. Dalton Connect is going to probably hit that rookie wall at some point too, which is going to probably hold them back. He had 17 points, hit 3 threes in this one. But going back to what you said about the Orlando Magic, if they can put it all together when Paolo Banchero comes back, that is a team that will be, I don't want to say scary, but make some noise, I think, in the Eastern Conference, which other than the Celtics is like in Cavs is pretty wide open.
Look, I'll say scary. I'll say scary for the Orlando Magic because I do think that they have a level of physicality that they play with that can get them through, I think, some of these playoff type of games. I think the playoff that they had last season was a real great learning experience for them. Again, I don't know that they, like the Lakers, are contenders or anything like that. But I think Orlando and LA are very similar in that they are both dealing with maybe better than expected performances. And each of their conferences have teams that are way underperforming, right? Like the Dallas Mavericks, the Minnesota Timberwolves, we're talking about the Timberwolves next. Like, you're like, oh, okay, this is not how I expected it to go. That would impact where the Lakers fall seeding wise. In the East, Milwaukee, Philly, there are teams that, New York still figuring themselves out. Orlando's in that mix because other teams are also underperforming. So they look better than expected. But I think Orlando has an edge to them that makes them a really, really tough team to play and a tough out in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The physicality you mentioned is a big thing. So for more on the Los Angeles Lakers, go check out the Locked On Lakers podcast, more on the Magic and what they're capable of doing. Go check out Locked On Magic. Coming up next, Toronto Raptors with a bit of a surprise here, beating the Minnesota Timberwolves. Is there drama in Minnesota? We'll break that down coming up here next in today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night is brought to you by Chime. We've all hit that point in our lives where we realize it's time to just take control over our finances, and Chime can help you do that by using a Chime checking account with features like no maintenance fees, fee-free overdraft up to $200, or getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. It's going to help you take control, not get nickeled and dimed. You can learn more over at chime.com/NBA. Chime helps you make progress with fee-free overdraft up to $200, and your next deposit is just applied to your balance. So get spotted on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals, no monthly fees or maintenance fees, and over 50,000 fee-free ATMs. To set it up, just set up your direct deposit to your Chime account. After a qualifying direct deposit of $200 or more, Chime will notify you to enroll in Spot Me, and when an activated debit card, Chime will spot you up to $200 when you exceed your balance, and your next direct deposit is applied to your negative balance, and Chime never charges fees or interest for using Spot Me. So make your fall finances a little greener by working towards your financial goals with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/NBA. That's chime.com/NBA. Chime feels like progress. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bank Corp NA or Stride Bank NA. Members FDIC. Spot Me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Terms and conditions apply. Go to chime.com/disclosures for details. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night is also brought to you by my go-to ticketing app, Game Time. I love Game Time because of all the features it has. So it makes it easy to go see all the live sporting events you want, or any of the live events at all: concerts, comedy, theater, and more. And Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I also love the all-in pricing. You toggle this up front, and it's going to show you the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. And if you're going to an event, a venue you've never been to before, you get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, so you're getting the exact tickets that you want. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. And thank you for making Locked On NBA Game Night your first listen today and every day. We're covering here everything 7 days a week here, breaking down everything you want to know about the association in 30 minutes or less. And now for your second listen, it's actually reading. Go to LockedOnDaily.com, sign up for your favorite team's daily free newsletter. You can do it over at LockedOnDaily.com. All right, John. There might be a little bit of drama here in Minnesota, losing to the Toronto Raptors 110-105. There was a play that really jumped out to you in this one that seemed to say a lot.
Yeah, this is the play that's going around a lot. 95-95. Rudy Gobert has his guy sealed real deep in the paint. Julius Randle. There's already been like some tension here. Julius Randle sees Rudy Gobert. He's got his guy pinned, and he's directly under the basket, and he just tosses him the ball. He's going to score. And Randall's just like the most dismissive, get out. I'm taking my guy, my turn. And Rudy just puts his head down like the Arrested Development clip. Just George Michael just kind of like dun, 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 dun. He just kind of waddles his way, and they call a 3-second call on him, and it's a turnover. And then he goes down the other end of the floor, and he just commits a foul. Just a complete sulking tantrum out of Gobert. There's very clearly something going on between Randle and Gobert. And look, Minnesota was seen as not only a contender, but the favorite or one of the favorites along with Dallas. And this is threatening. This Randle trade is not working out the way they thought it would.
No, look, I feel like there was going to be some adjustment period here. I'm a big Julius Randle guy, but obviously it's going to be a little bit tough to kind of integrate, another high usage guy in there. That's not the same type of player as Karl Anthony Towns. And look, it has a knock-on effect, I think, on Anthony Edwards too. He got off to a real slow start in this game and only really came alive in the second half. But at that point, you've got to wonder if, because of that slow start, that's a reason why Toronto was able to get in this one and win this game. But does anyone like Rudy Gobert? Like, this has kind of always been a theme, it feels like, right? Like, there's something to it.
There's something to it. Like, that play, I don't know what was behind it, because it's a very simple play. If Rudy Gobert has the guy pinned the way he does, just throw him the ball. But Julius Randle never even considered it. I don't know what's going on between those two guys. And then afterwards, Anthony Edwards was up in Gobert's face. He didn't get into Randall's face. He got into Gobert's face. It was like, what are you doing? Why? You got to, I don't know what their problem is, but it's a problem. And if they can't figure this out with Rudy Gobert, I mean, he makes a ton of money. And we're at that same point with him where chemistry, do people like him, playoff situation, is he always playable in the playoff? It's that the conversation has just never changed with Rudy Gobert. And I know just me saying that is going to bring that small group of Rudy Gobert believers who are going to give me 10 deep advanced stats. You're going to be like, no, they're actually a million times better with him on the floor. Like, okay, yeah, but it hasn't worked for some reason. And here we are again. It's not working for some reason, and he's at the center of it.
Yeah, it's definitely a concern. Look, they kind of doubled down on him by trading away Karl Anthony Towns and being like, no, this is the guy that we want. And to an extent, I get it, but look, they don't look like the same team they were a year ago, and this was a game that they really should have won. Now, the Toronto Raptors got Scotty Barnes back. Let's see what Sean Woodley has to say about his return in Toronto winning this game. I got a little piece of info on Sean and what he's doing in this video too that I'll share because it makes me laugh.
The Toronto Raptors are on a win streak. Sean Woodley here, walking home from the Toronto Raptors, taking down the Minnesota Timberwolves, 110-105. Their second straight win. They moved to 4-12 on the season, just 3 games out of the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference, the very bad Eastern Conference. And the Raptors are not playing like a bottom of the East team. Yes, they're 4-12. Yes, they went 2-9 without Scotty Barnes, who returned tonight, by the way. Looked very good. Was on a minutes restriction, but 17 points, 6 assists, and just some really good work in the fourth quarter of this game for a Raptors team that's had trouble locking things down in crunch time this year. Having Scotty and his everything, everywhere, all at once defense, his clutch late game shot making and playmaking for others, a huge deal for this team. And now this team, all of a sudden, after dealing with so many injuries early in the year, has discovered some functional depth where there are guys now who didn't seem like rotation players before the season who are fitting in nicely. Jonathan Bobo, a rookie and a defensive ace already. Ochai Agbaji, a really good 5th starter for this team right now. This is not a great team, but you don't got to be great in the Eastern Conference. I think there might be a climb in store here for a Raptors team that's getting healthier and that is playing with a lot of spirit.
So if he sounds out of breath in that and his just casual stroll through Toronto, he's trying to beat the traffic from the Taylor Swift concert and was like running out of there is what he told me. So I appreciate Sean managing to send that in and avoid all of that. I think he makes a good point though of, look, the East is down outside of 3-4 teams. Toronto can still make a run. And while their record might not look great, it feels like they probably still have a lot to play for versus, I don't know, a comparable team with the similar 4-12 record in the West, like the New Orleans Pelicans.
Toronto's a tough team, man. The Celtics just played them. So you get to see them up close, and they are a try-hard squad, man. you have to beat the Toronto Raptors. They're not great, like he said. They're not going to out-talent you. Like some of these teams can just throw their talent out there. I know the Celtics can just do that sometimes. Just throw your talent out there, and they'll play worse than the team that they're playing and win because they've just got better basketball players. The Raptors are always going to make you beat them. They're gonna play hard to the end, and it's an impressive team. It's an impressive just kind of culture that they're building. So, I can see them. I certainly can see them in the play-in. I can certainly see them making some sort of run here. They are not the tanking Raptors. That's not going to happen. So, I hope they can get some good learning experience out of this run. However it goes, this is an important culture building season for them.
Yeah, look, over the past 4 or 5 games, you've seen RJ Barrett play really well. He had 31 points in this one. Chris Boucher off the bench, 22 points. Scotty Barnes coming back, and you heard Sean say kind of do everything, 17 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds for him. He was kind of all over the place, including some really good defense at times. They're healthy. We'll see what they can do in the Eastern Conference. So for more on the drama with the Minnesota Timberwolves, is that overblown? Go check out Locked On Wolves and go check out Sean over at Locked On Raptors. And the 2 funniest games of the night coming up. I promise you want to hear us talk about Pistons Hornets. Yes, Pistons Hornets, and then a tankathon between the Utah Jazz and the San Antonio Spurs. That's coming up here next in today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night. Every game, every night. Today's episode of Locked On NBA is brought to you by Robinhood Gold. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.25 APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA contributions. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For specific product disclosures, visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. And thank you for making it Locked On NBA Game Night your first listen today and every day. Now, for your second listen, go check out your favorite team show. Maybe that's Locked On Celtics. John was at the White House, by the way. He's in his hotel right now, which is pretty awesome. I cover whoever's playing for the Pelicans over at Locked On Pelicans here. And we got 2 more games that we're going to go kind of quickly through, but these were like shockingly fun to me. And let's start with the Detroit Pistons losing to the Charlotte Hornets in overtime, 123-121. Let's jump to Ku Hill, host of Locked On Pistons, here for his take. And then I'm going to tell you all the funny stuff that happened in this game because it was great.
The Detroit Pistons suffer another tough loss to the Charlotte Hornets. Host of the Locked On Pistons podcast, Ku Hill here. The Detroit Pistons lost a tough one on a game-winning shot last time against the Charlotte Hornets. Probably felt like they should have won this one. This one, they should not feel like they should have won this game at all. They deserved to lose this game, and if they would have won this game, it would have been a steal. They didn't play well this entire game. They had 19 turnovers. Caden Ivey had 8. The rest of the team had 11. Low usage guys committing 11 turnovers outside your 2 high usage guys cannot continue to happen. Cade Cunningham shot 9-26 from the field. You need him to shoot better from the field. He did end the game with 27 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds, but you need the efficiency to go along with it. Their defense is starting to slip as well. JB Bickerstaff was working magic to start the year. You're starting to see cracks in the armor. Guys are not playing as well. You're seeing Wendell Moore Jr. get 20-plus minutes. It was not a good game by the Detroit Pistons. They deserved to lose this game. They're lucky it went to overtime.
You know, watching that game, I think both teams truly deserved to lose this one. He mentioned Cade Cunningham, the 27 points, 10 assists. He took over the fourth quarter and looked really, really good for them. But he was also a big part of the reason why they went down 20 in the first 3 quarters, essentially, because of his lack of shooting, his lack of scoring. On the flip side for the Charlotte Hornets, you had LaMelo Ball with 35 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds. He took over the third quarter and pushed that lead up and then kind of vanished in the fourth. And then get this, fouled out in overtime after 1 second. This game was like a comedy of errors, in my opinion here. You had 3 game winners missed in the final 4 seconds of this one, including Malik Beasley for the Pistons missing 2 of them. LaMelo fouls out 1 second into overtime after Isaiah Stewart got a foul on the jump ball, and then on the inbounds for Charlotte, LaMelo commits an offensive foul to leave the game, and it was just, you saw an airballed free throw, you saw an airballed 3 off of trying to bite for the foul from Grant Williams. It was funny, but at least Brandon Miller played well here. He looked like 38 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, a block. He looked like an offense and defensive cornerstone at the very least.
Happy birthday, Brandon Miller, 22
Seriously.
years old. And he's, he had that 1 steal on the attempted lob.
Oh, it's incredible.
Crazy athletic play, great instincts. This is all part of the discovery process for the Charlotte Hornets. You got a new coach. You got Miller in here. You trying to figure out what LaMelo Ball is going to be for this team. 5 years into the league, he's still only 23, but he's also 5 years into the NBA. Fouls have been a real problem for him. We saw him get benched a couple nights ago. That, at the end of the fourth quarter, LaMelo has these stretches where he looks just unstoppable, and then he does that. He disappears. So finding Brandon Miller, getting him some consistency, I think the Charlotte Hornets are looking for players that are going to be that guy, that are going to be that consistent performer on both ends of the floor. Charles Lee comes from winning a title in Milwaukee, winning a title in Boston. He is not going to stand for immaturity in Charlotte. And they've got a lot to figure out. They've got a lot of guys that maybe, and it's not just LaMelo, like Grant Williams, I thought would be further along in his development at this point. So I do think they have a lot to figure out, but I know what Charles Lee stands for, and he's not going to stand for some of these types of performances.
No, look, for more on the Hornets, go check out Locked On Hornets, go check out Locked On Pistons too. And then the final game that we got to talk about here, oh boy, was this one weird. The San Antonio Spurs beating the Utah Jazz 126-118 after Utah had a 20-point lead. Let's go to David Locke here, what he has to say about this one and the Utah Jazz blowing that lead here.
After back-to-back slow starts on this road trip in Los Angeles, the Utah Jazz came down to San Antonio and were brilliant in the first half, leading the end of first quarter 32-17, leading by as many as 20 in the second quarter, having a 16-point lead at the half. But three-point shooting dissolved in the second half as the Jazz went 0 for 5 in the third quarter from 3, hitting only 2 in the fourth quarter, finishing 2 of 13 in the second half from 3, and closing with a very inexperienced lineup. Isaiah Collier, along with Keontae George on the lineup, with second-year player Bryce Sensabaugh, as well as Lowry Markkanen and John Collins. The Jazz were unable to hold off the venerable Chris Paul, who made every play late in his final games. As Isaiah Collier was finishing his first ever game at point guard in the clutch situation, Chris Paul was playing his 1,300th game, and the difference was obvious late in this one. Jazz fall to the San Antonio Spurs 126-118. We'll back at it Saturday against the Knicks at 3 at home.
Did either team want to win this game? Did either team actually want to win?
Spurs without Wembanyama.
Yep.
Closing out with 80-year-old Chris Paul dominating a fourth quarter. This was, we should be wearing our Tank Commanders hats and like Photoshop us in the tanks moving forward.
Okay, we're gonna play another quick real or fake here. Chris Paul is eligible to be traded this year at the trade deadline for when he signed his deal. Real or fake? Chris Paul ends the season on the Spurs.
Real.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, real because I just don't think I don't think Chris Paul is a midseason answer at this age, especially. Like, who's gonna trade for him?
That's fair.
Like, who's gonna trade for him? He's gonna come in and dominate a locker room. I don't see it. I don't see it may not be that the Spurs refuse to trade. I think the Spurs would be like, yeah, hey, anybody want Chris Paul? He looks good, right? I don't know that another team's going to be in on Chris Paul. First of all, health is always a problem.
Big question.
And, yeah, huge question there. You can't rely on him. And then, his personality is strong. And I don't know how many locker rooms are willing to take on a personality as strong as his midseason.
$10.4 million contract this year. It's movable. I'm just throwing that out there. Harrison Barnes, the other vet, did really well for San Antonio in this one. 25 points, 10 rebounds. You saw Larry Markkinen go for 27 points on 3 of 10, though, from deep, which wasn't great, but only on 17 shots. So overall, a pretty good game for him. Just Utah, I'm still convinced they're pretty happy they ended up losing this game, but it came down to it at the end, which was unexpected when one team is up 20 here and it was like, oh yeah, no, we don't want this. Just miss your threes or something like that.
You could hear David Locke's voice when he said it. A very inexperienced lineup. Like, he's saying it without saying it.
Yeah, like entirely, right? It's all going according to plan right here.
Yeah.
And guess what? This whole podcast has gone according to plan, covering 4 real. That was good. I'm proud of that one. Real fun night in the NBA here on Fridays. I'm your co-host Jake Madison at Nola Jake on Twitter. Host the Locked On Pelicans podcast.
And I'm John Karalis at John_Karalis on Twitter. John Karalis without the underscore on Blue Sky. Got to start giving out our Blue Sky now. Host of the Locked On Celtics podcast.
They're going to need those soon. So we appreciate y'all listening. We'll be back with y'all next week. Don't forget, shows on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, covering everything you want to know about the league here on Locked On NBA Game Night, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.